Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Mappool Showcase. A quick congratulations to all those teams that have managed to make it this far into quarterfinals. It's a pleasure to have you all here with us, and we even have a few more surprises in this week's Mappool Showcase. We are very excited to see the teams that have made it so far be able to take a part of these surprises. I am joined today by Mr. Snow Leopard. How are you doing, Mr. Snow?
Hello. I'm doing great. I'm ready for this Mappool Showcase. I heard that there's some quite exciting things in store. So I think we should hop right into it with Nomad 1, which is going to be From Zero by Neko Hacker.
The map itself by Soliloquy. It has very sort of unconventional slider shapes and focuses on very quick snappings as well. And we will see some unconventional kind of spacings and patterns with this map. Jumping right into it without any sort of kind of break part, we see all these wide sliders that you're going to be facing. Kind of adding a bit of a twist to the generic consistency pick by adding a lot of spice to its interesting ideas and having them be consistent throughout.
Yeah, with that said, it is the consistency slot, so it's going to be 3 minutes, 34 seconds long, and star rating of 5.83, AR 9.4, about what you'd expect, but yeah, like you mentioned, mapping itself a little spicier than, just your boring snooze map. No mini tiebreaker here.
Which is very good to note. We have a lot of these quick turnarounds, and as you start to move away from the verses into more of the Forest and PI, you end up being graced with a lot more of these turnarounds back to back. We've seen some stair patterns early on, and the map still has plenty of turnarounds and some soft hyperchains to greet you with throughout its duration.
So another interesting note about this map is it was mapped using laser. It was pretty cool. If you haven't checked out the mapping editor on laser, it lets you actually see the fruit as you map. Pretty interesting.
It's interesting how it converts as well. Soliloquy is definitely known to be a laser enjoyer, actually having, I think, the first ranked map that was mapped in laser for catch. So definitely good to see him be in his element as he makes all of these amazing slider shapes.
Yeah, some other things to note is that it is CS 4.3, so a little bit smaller on the fruit, but not too much. It's still pretty close to that CS 4 that you'd come to expect as standard.
The song itself does provide you with a bit of downtime, but quickly brings up things that are tricky once again in varying ways, as you can sometimes have wiggles all the way to stairs and very quick turnarounds. Even as we're seeing now the kind of progressive spacing into the unconventional snapping.
Oh, and one thing I didn't mention is Neko Hacker is a featured artist. As always, lots of featured artist maps, or songs, I should say, going to be in this pool. I'll try to remember to call them out whenever we have them.
Greatly appreciated, Big Snow. Coming into this section, we definitely have the solo with the turnarounds and the slightly weird positioning needed to hit all of this appropriately. Or coming into our kind of final burst section, which is a kind of enhanced PI, if you will. Some more aggressive hyperchains with the stairs into the 3-note stream you have the position for.
Yeah, and then a nice little spinner, well, a couple small little spinners to round it out.
Don't leave your keyboard moment.
Yeah, definitely. Keep an eye out for that. That was our Nomad 1. We can move on to Nomad 2, which is going to be Kibo no Hoshi wa Seshu ni Noboru by Uma versus Morimori Atsushi. It was a mouthful, but this is going to be our tech pick. So what can you tell us about that, Connor?
So the map itself has a lot of quick 112 burst streams that do require some positioning and overall positioning 4, and you get to see a lot of those in this part, and even in the upcoming slow part, you'll see some slight positioning required for hitting the very quick doubles here, as you kind of have to slowly adjust your platter to hit them. The map itself picks up quite a bit and offers the more conventional speed style that players are used to. So this map kind of acts as a dual test in that regard.
Absolutely. It's also another featured artist once again, and with it being the tech pick, a lot shorter, just 2 minutes 5 seconds long, and star rating bumped up in according to 6.37.
Definitely a lot of quick snap that you get to see as we kind of come into this part, with the more leaned stacks requiring more speed overall. Holding dash a bit more as you have to hit all of these wide jump angles.
Yeah, lots of anti-flow throughout as well. Keep you on your toes.
Before coming into the stream part we all know and love, the speed enjoyers rise up for this section.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention AR 9.6, so starting to get up there. Still within, I would say, kind of reasonable Nomad realm. Not quite anything crazy close to 10, but still getting a little fast up there.
And just like that, the song itself is having quite a bit of really sharp snaps. So it definitely is something to get accustomed to. I would definitely recommend practicing this map in particular.
Absolutely. And up next, we got Underground Crimson by Scott Lloyd Shelley. And this one is mapped by XCon. Only 2 minutes 41 seconds long, 6.37 star rating, and it is the gimmick pick.
Now, in that 4 seconds, you already got nice up to 200 combo. This is one of the most unconventional maps I have personally ever seen. Its use of stacks is quite unprecedented and requires quite a bit of precision, even in these kind of slow parts. We see the use of very unconventional dense streams, where you have to make the conscious decision to either walk, stop, hold dash for maybe just a tiny bit to try and keep up. This map is the definition of a precision test for Nomad.
Yeah, some very unconventional mapping we've come to expect from XCon. Awesome to see XCon coming out and making another map for us. They are 9.1, which is a little bit low, but and kind of offset by the CS 4.6, which is certainly getting up there, getting some pretty small fruits, but gives a little more room to map all these weird patterns in.
Yeah, coming into this double section can be especially hard to be precise with, having to keep track of exactly where your platter is. Before coming into this section right here.
Need some precision on those streams.
Very interesting pattern, one that hasn't exactly been used in the ranked meta before. A somewhat EP stream, which is something that players may have to spend some time learning with a lot of these stacks.
One thing you might ask is, who is this Scott Lloyd Shelley person? And it's because this song is from Terraria. Terraria? I don't know. How do you pronounce it? But yeah, that's where this song comes from.
This guy is not a Terraria enjoyer. Unbelievable.
More of a Minecraft fan myself, but, you know.
I'll ban this guy after.
Well deserved, honestly.
Still have quite a bit more precision, especially coming into one of the last big bursts before the map finally calms down again. The slider's getting crazy before things start to simmer down.
All right, that was Nomad 3, so we only have one Nomad left to go, and that is going to be the Convert pick, as always. And for that, we got Integral Cube by Function Phantom, another FA.
Now, the overall goal of this convert definitely is to kind of help to shake up the rhythm with a main heavy focus on the 1/3 rhythm choice with kind of wide mapping, which isn't featured too heavily in terms of the no mods, as a lot of them are more stack oriented. This definitely does help to provide the more jumpy aspect. And its length is about
like
the same
those
as
fruit
Nomad
colors.
1.
It has custom fruit colors, yeah.
Definitely have some back-to-back hyper jumps to definitely kind of act as a foil to the previous nomads. So it is very nice to be able to have something that can test those players that are good at back-to-back hyper dashes.
Yeah, and definitely one you want to be prepared for. It's 4 minutes 16 seconds long, star rating 5.11 and AR 9.4. So definitely one you got to strap in for and ride out the whole 4 minutes if you're not a convert enjoyer.
Something to keep in mind with that is that the drain time does only amount to 3:37, so it's not too long or strenuous.
Yeah.
Because of its length, it does definitely have some points that you can see right here, parts that are definitely easier, and that are definitely very punishing to those players that missed in the previous sections by being that sort of free combo build-up for the opposing team. So it can definitely be seen as a kind of safer pick, and I think that's something important to keep in mind.
Another trivia I can share is the diff name Leibniz is named after a mathematician who developed the present-day notation used for differential and integral calculus. We can also see replay being able for Matt Bayes. I have to imagine is another mathematician.
I am terrible at math.
Seems like AFB is a math enjoyer.
I think that's a good sentiment to make. Coming into this kind of other slow part, similar to what I mentioned earlier about how you can definitely be very punished for the misses before coming back into the more intense part of the jump.
I don't believe I mentioned the mapper for this one, but this one's mapped by Alphabet. Of course, is a standard mapper, with this being a convert. Yeah, I really like the custom combo colors. Goes with the background really well.
Yeah, and we have this section definitely being intense and holding that kind of intensity for a longer amount of time as the spacing still continue to be wide before coming to this section without as many hypers, but still some wide dashing in and of itself.
There we go. Nice little long slider to end it out, and that wraps up the Nomad pool. So we're going to hop right along to the hidden pool. Starting us off, hidden one is going to be Eclipse by Regal Theater. This one mapped by FD Fluorite, and our difficulty is I prefer VS Code.
Now starting to become a kind of tradition with the Fluorite mapping the same artist, if you do remember from last year, their Regal Theater map. You can already see a lot of these dense stacks that you have to read with hidden, and the map can definitely be seen carrying on the tradition of the one used last year. You have a lot of these dense stacks paired with very wide mapping that does allow for a lot of precision in order to make sure that you can hit all of these stacks.
Yeah, definitely a bit scary on hidden, but it is AR9, so at least you have that going for you. It's a standard AR pick. It is 4 minutes and 4 seconds long, and let's see, start rating 5.65. So consistency hidden pick. Wow, I am sad. We have some trivia about the diff name. It is a programming joke. Eclipse and VS Codes are two popular editors used to write code. I didn't even make that connection, and I use both of them like almost daily at work.
Poor Snow Leopard. You didn't have to out yourself on stream. I could have tanked it for you, you know.
I gotta speak the truth. This is the Mappool Showcase. Gotta lay it all out.
And this section in particular definitely being one of the harder parts of the map, with a lot of these wiggles and turnarounds. And earlier you also got to see the many dense stacks that this section provided. Before hitting you with a nice kind of chill slow part. I say with aggressive snaps.
About as chill as you can get with super wide mapping like this.
Yeah, the spacing being, at least I find, somewhat intuitive before moving right back into what you're used to with the map. These kind of wiggles in 4-note streams that are a bit wider than in previous instances, with more implemented turnarounds.
Nice little break section transitioning into the latter quarter of the map.
Definitely a nice build-up section. And a kind of reintroduction of some of these stacks and doubles. The map's still not letting up, even in its last moments, still having that tricky flow and stacks throughout the entire duration.
Yep, and then a nice long spinner to round it out. Definitely plenty of room for skill expression on that one. And something else known for skill expression is low AR hidden. So for hidden 2, we got Alice a la mode by Akita Masanori. And this one's mapped by Dika, and I'm not even going to try the difficulty name. I know my French is not good.
I think you should try the difficulty.
Say Laura Duty, something like that.
That was amazing. Dika also being the one to draw the background. Big props. I can't express how amazing it is to have artists working on these backgrounds for maps. It's very happy. It makes me very happy to see all of these. The map itself, you can already tell, being the very dense low AR hidden pick with the kind of conjoined sliders that have the slight gap, so it can be hard to tell when you should dash, since you could miss droplets as a consequence.
Yeah, extra hard with it being AR 8.2, so that's getting pretty low for hidden. Definitely, yeah, getting difficult in there. We did drop the difficulty down, or the length down to 227, and star rating 4.22.
Even the soft anti-flows can be a little bit complicated, because you keep constantly having to adjust your movement to adapt to these sliders. It's something that can definitely define a lot of skill expression in the mod itself by being able to have high AC on this map while still being able to keep your combo.
Another thing we could point out is this is a song from Archaea, actually. And the difficulty name translates to tea time. Should have just read that and said that instead. Said, you know, and just say it in English instead of French.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Another cool thing, this is another map that was made in laser. So we got at least 2 now. 2 laser maps.
2 laser enjoyers. Coming into this last kind of streamy section with the progressive spacing to emphasize the sounds. Definitely a bit more flow intensive before closing out the map, giving you these really, really long sliders.
All right, we only got one hidden left to go, and that one is going to be Jam with Pancake by Frums, another featured artist. We have Breakfast Overdose by Dust.
Definitely, even from this intro, you can clearly tell how this map was intended to be. Very mechanical, following the more meta use of hidden, having a very mechanical map, leaning away from the reading aspect, having density with very fast patterns and stacks.
Yeah, map stats going to be pretty similar to last one, 223 on the length. Difficulty, though, 6.11, so quite a bit higher. And, of course, AR 9.4. But similar length, more mechanical pick instead of low AR pick.
And as Bunray has already noticed, the tick rate actually being set to where there are only big droplets. I like to think of this as the tick rate needs to be 4 so that there's more fruit caught for the hearty breakfast with your pancakes.
Very nice, very nice. I love this note. We have big big slider droplets are yummy.
Other map selectors felt similarly to me.
Yeah, I agree. They are yummy.
The map itself never really lets up in terms when there are notes on the screen. Anytime there are going to be notes, it is definitely a high-intensity map. I'm going to love to see how this is used in tournament. Could be used in opposition to one of the lower BPM maps. And hitting you with this non-stop speed can definitely catch players off guard since it stays this fast even from the intro.
Even our replayers are getting in on the breakfast with apple flour butter.
Even a bit of nice funky slider art and tick rate 4. Always love to see it. Before coming into this last burst stream section, going absolutely ham with these slider tick rate 4 sliders.
Oh, watch out for that. I was about to say some nice bananas to end it up, but no, there's 2 fruit that will catch you out at the end. Make sure to grab those.
Never leave your keyboard.
Yeah. Keep on your toes at all times with this map pool. We're going to hard rock with quite a crazy background. Going to be Twilight of the Thunder God by Sabaton.
Having Himidakari and Moru collab for a more stream-heavy hard rock map. It's extremely consistent in its ideas, being very meta in the way it executes hard rock by having these streams that many players have kind of seen. There's some ever so slight twists on it with the kind of shorter ones that you will not need to hold dash for. But the map itself is pretty meta and consistent.
Really love the lightning strike effects on the map. That's pretty cool. Very fitting.
A background very fitting of the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This one's going to be 3 minutes, 29 seconds long, starting 6.51. And AR10, of course, with it being hard rock. But CS, that's a more interesting stat, was 4.2, comes to 5.46 with hard rock applied.
Coming into this section, you can see the kind of slight HR distortion. Definitely not a big theme of this map. Not having too much of the grievances in terms of how HR is touched, but more so just focusing on following how well you can read AR10 and play meta maps with Hard Rock applied onto them.
Yeah, apparently this song was actually in OSU World Cup 2021 Grand Finals Nomad 2, making a triumphant comeback in the Hard Rock pool now, though.
This part having some slight anti-flows. While still being a bit slow, it still remains with its intensity, moving on to having these kind of burst 4-note streams.
I like the very thematically appropriate difficulty name as well, Ascension to Valhalla.
Coming into this last section, we definitely see some wider patterning, a bit of a few crazy slider shapes to emphasize the guitar, and overall kind of final burst part in this last quarter that we get to see here.
That Ki section is just so cool with the lightning flashing.
It fits really well, especially
so
with
good.
having all of this added movement here. And you see a bit of distortion with some of the singular notes, but the spacing overall getting wider and forcing more input from you.
All right, that's big shoes to fill to follow up a song like that. And to try and do that, we got Hard Rock 2 Jungmo by Cohen Sound, map by our very own Connor. What can you tell us about this map?
Now, this map is definitely easier on the FC side of things. I opted for the higher CS being about CS6 with Hard Rock applied. And its main test is going to be based around accuracy, having a lot of wacky sliders implemented here.
Yeah, definitely pretty high CS. Circles, or fruit rather, getting very small here. Low BPM though, 95.
I had to find a song to contrast with Hard Rock 1, and this felt very appropriate to do that.
That is fair, yeah. Almost, I think almost exactly half the BPM.
Now, there are not very many hard rock distortions in this map as well. There are a few soft ones that do lead to soft edge dashes, which are intended, as this map is based on being more tricky rather than difficult patterning. Definitely more on the kind of tricky side rather than difficult to FC side. If you are definitely not comfortable with the higher CS or being able to maintain the act, then this can be seen as riskier in that regard.
Yeah, this one also coming in at 3 minutes, so a little on the longer side. But it's very peaceful. This is your kind of your break section where you just get a regain zen in the middle of a very hard fought match.
Bit of a wide kind of spacing increase here. As the flow picks up a little bit too. Still keeping the kind of act gimmick, but including a bit more of this flow as you move into this section of the Ki.
Song makes me want to read a book near the window on a rainy day. Very peaceful.
Definitely happy I got to go with this song as a foil to Hard Rock 1 and the soon-to-be-seen Hard Rock 3.
Yeah, speaking of Hard Rock 3, I think we got something a little special about that. What can you tell us, Connor?
All I can say is the first custom song is incoming. We would like to show respect to all of the teams that have made it thus far by introducing the first custom song of the season. We will not be saying anything over the song, and we hope you enjoy.
Let's go.
All right, that was our first OSU original that it was not Grand Finals tiebreaker. Kudos to AFB for making such an amazing map. You already got to see the map play out. You got to see those many slight hard rock distortions paired with the high BPM, a lot more quicker turnarounds as a foil to both Hard Rock 1 and 2. Very happy that we got to have an OSU original this early for all of you to enjoy.
That was super awesome to see, and yeah, super glad that we could get one so early. So let us know what you think about that in the feedback. But until then, we still have a lot of pools left to go, so we can jump right along to Double Time 1. It's going to be Sakura Anada ni Daate Yokata by RSP.
A collab between the advisors, me, and FD4. Now, a big note.
The white screen.
I would like to give a kind of note with this map, as last year at this time we had an AR9 map in this slot to kind of test reading, and seeing how many teams were capable of reading AR9. And we did decide to kind of have that shifted into another slot and test kind of spacing and mechanical play instead of sheerly reading. So there will be another map that is AR9. I can already see the creeper type will be okay, I promise.
Yeah, this one being 8.7, which with double time applied goes to 10.13. It's going to be 3 minutes 17 seconds and a star rating of 5.8 CS4.
The map itself between both of us is pretty meta. but there are quite a few kind of stop and go patterns and things that make it difficult to either just hold dash or use dash in an extremely conventional sense. So having a bit of control for the consistency map is something we were going for.
Yeah, definitely an interesting kind of consistency slot pick. A bit of an old song as well. I believe this song, is from 2009. Not an old map, though. New map, old song.
The original Osu map, I am sure there are many people in this chat who have played the original standard map, released in 2011, including me, which is what sparked the idea to map it for CWC today. Thank you, Floret, for being willing to kind of have this with me. Coming into the break slow build-up section here, we are going to have this lead into a bit more of a BPM control section, paired with the key change into the final PI. A bit more anti-flow paired with the kind of slightly longer sliders and the singular note hypers into the note as a kind of final burst.
Yeah, final little test. Make sure that you're paying attention still. All right, so that was our double time 1. Now up for double time 2, we have Has Not Come Yet by Polisha. This is Jimzu's Awaiting Arrival.
Personally, I think Gemzu should arrive a little faster. Despite that, this map is a huge contrast to DT1. The song already having all these glitch sounds, and you already get to see what the song's all about with these very quick place stacks, requiring precision, speed, and player capability to be able to be consistent with all of these ideas coming at you at very high speed.
Absolutely, yeah. And Polisha being another featured artist, gotta call that out. This one being slightly lower approach rate, 8.4, which goes to 9.93 with double time, and CS 4.2. So a little slower, a little smaller fruit on this tech pick. Don't worry, Decreeper, we're coming to it.
We do have the gracious build-up section, considering this map is more difficult than the DT1. There is a bit of grace there for those not as adept with the mod before we end up swooping into the last corner of the map.
Yeah, another interesting note. So despite Gemzu have custom mapping for many years, this is his first custom double time for CWC.
Can definitely see him having a lot of fun with these very quick turnaround non-hyper dash streams. Definitely more of a control-based slash speed pick.
Also noticing the replay name Yoshi Azure. Is there a Yoshi hidden in the background here? Or be on the lookout somewhere else?
What I can say is there is a tremendous amount of effort about where the Yoshi lies. More effort this week than any previous week on where the Yoshi should go. So if you spend effort finding the Yoshi, then you have bested 5 of our inner staff and deserve praise for finding him. He is definitely in a tricky spot, and kudos to those who spend the effort finding the Yoshi.
Yeah, keep your eyes out on that. But until then, we got Double Time 3, which is going to be Critical Cannonball extended version by Cepheid, another featured artist, this time Rockma's Rain, and this is our speed pick.
Is that what I think? 10.3. There you go, Creeper. Now,
Yep.
kind of keeping with the format of the DTs kind of escalating based off of last round as well. We did have the slight BPM control consistency before coming into the highest AR speed. This is a theme that I think will pair very well, and you can already see there is a lot of tap-heavy movement. There's high AR, there's the kind of burst streams. This is the map that is dedicated to the double time players in the chat.
Yep, first AR9 double time map to show up this year. Gonna be 2 minutes 8 seconds long, star rating a 6.19, and CS 3.6, so actually slightly larger fruit than normal.
The map itself having a lot of kind of tricky gimmicks used throughout its time. You have a lot of these taps before coming into many of these kind of stack sections that are very easy to overdash on, since the map itself being created so you cannot just kind of hold dash and move through this. As you can even see our replayer having to use dash very frequently to keep up with all of these stacks.
And for the Touhou enjoyers out there, you'll be pleased to know that this is from Touhou 14, Double Dealing Character. It's a remix of the Stage 3 theme from Bamboo Forest of the Full Moon. I sense Rockma was involved somehow.
I think that just makes sense.
Oh, this is Rockma's map, so I think Rockma definitely was involved in this. That's going to be our double time pool. We still got a couple more maps to go. Next up, this is going to be Mixed Mod 1, Fusion Rumble by Kosio Zuntada. And this one is Ascendance's Master.
Now this map, you could compare it to JBH's from last round. It does have more intensity to it. With this round, it's not as much of a safe pick considering the content included in the pool, but I could definitely define this as a more meta-based map. There are definitely some wide-based patterns, but none of which are really unexpected by any means. This is for the teams that have players that are more adept to playing or farming maps in the ranked section. This is definitely the map that is for those teams, still keeping up with the rest of the pool instead of being a more safe-oriented pick.
Yeah, this one's going to be AR 9.4, which of course goes to 10 with Hard Rock. CS4, which is 5.2 with Hard Rock. 2 minutes, 2 seconds long, 5.91 star rating.
And you can see through this Hard Rock replay that there are definitely distortions involved, which is why I don't want to define it as the kind of easy, safe pick by any means, because it still has some speed, and it does have HR distortions as well. And coming into this final section, we can see a bit more of those distortions, as well as the kind of overall speed generation, as you have this ongoing stream with a lot of turnarounds and a lot of density to it.
Yeah, it keeps you going fast until the very end. Don't run away at that spinner. There's still some more notes.
That is a primary theme for this week. Never leave your keyboard.
Yeah, never leave the keyboard. You'll always get caught out by those spinners. That was our Mixed Mod 1. We got another Mixed Mod. Got Mixed Mod 2, and that is going to be Ju Rokiju no Hituratabi by Mitsukio. This one's Miniam's Overdose, and it is another featured artist.
Keeping along with the theme of having Mixed Mod 2 be a more crazy-based map, being higher in difficulty and having a gimmick of some sort in terms of its patterning and spacing. Minyam's map definitely has quite a few hard rock distortions that make it difficult in that mod, while being low AR to make it difficult for the hidden player as well.
Yeah, this one's going to be our AR 8.8, so low AR hidden. Not too low, though, honestly. 8.8 is not too bad for the hidden player. It will go to AR 10, of course, with Hard Rock, and CS 4.2 up to 5.46 with Hard Rock. 1 minute, 43 seconds, a bit of a short map. I think one of the shortest, the shortest in the pool, I believe. And a starting of 5.01.
As chat has somehow pointed out, I do believe this background is Fob's backyard. Kudos to Fob for providing the background.
Yeah, interesting note. The background was photographed by Fob, and allegedly 15 seconds after that was taken, a bird pooped on his phone. So,
this better be included in trivia.
Fob's phone.
Bob trying to deny that it's his backyard. Nice try, buddy.
All right, well, that is our mixed mod pool. So we only got one thing left, and that is going to be the tiebreaker, which is going to be Yggdrasil by Graham versus Kubario. This one
you
mapped
pronounced
by...
that perfectly.
Thank you. This one's mapped by Dust and Dave, Surge to the Asgard, and it is another featured artist.
As for the kind of idea of this map, it definitely fits the tiebreaker theme, having the major build-up section. The anticipation is growing as you realize that this point is going to be the one that determines it all, giving you plenty of time to dwell on that idea.
This one's going to be AR 9.7, CS 4.2. It's going to be 6.77 star rating. A length of 5 minutes and 39 seconds. For the typo on our sheet that says the length is 200 minutes.
That's my favorite typo on this.
It's actually indeed 200 BPM rather than 200 minutes long.
Starting to get a bit of build up here. That entire quarter dedicated. You can see player movement and how the anticipation builds before hitting you with these streams. Some taps, turnarounds, and wiggles. Nothing too intense yet. As the anticipation keeps building and we have the one note off streams, things progressively just keep getting more intense throughout this section.
We got a lot of Norse mythology references in this pool. This one being another one, of course. Yggdrasil is the world tree that connects the 9 realms. And Asgard is the place where the Nordic gods reside.
And call me crazy, I do think you need to be a Nordic god to FC this match, in-match. So I'm very excited to see who reveals themselves with them.
Yeah, how many gods do we have still left in this tournament? I have to imagine quite a few with the performances that we've been seeing.
Taking a little bit of a break from the streams, you do have the more calm kind of jumpy section that is not as strenuous. Before coming right back into these very quick wiggle turnaround streams.
Another fun fact, so we got the artist Graham, which apparently it's also known as DJ Genki. Sounds familiar, I feel like I've heard that before.
And I believe you may have heard that from the Osu original tiebreaker featured in Aiko for this year.
Ah, yeah. It all comes full circle. Full fruit.
Coming in with this kind of other slow section. I am very excited and hope this gets played, because this is a type of map where you can see the nervousness of the players as they play the map with these slower sections, whose platter's a bit wobbly or who looks close to missing. This is definitely a nerve check TV paired with a lot of these streams.
And to conquer this map, you may need the Gram, which is the sword used by Sigurd to slay the dragon Fafnir.
Definitely have some wider streams in this section, and a bit of a change up to the turnarounds to make things a bit harder, or continuing with that idea and getting even more intense by having these crazy stacks and turnarounds that are very easily chokeable. Something like this with all this density in the combos can definitely be what makes or breaks the point for a team.
Yeah, Nerve's going to be at an all-time high coming into this ending section. Don't walk away from the keyboard. Once again.
Never.
Gotta watch out. That ending could be tragic if you miss those last, looks like 6 or 7 notes. That could make the difference. Always be on your toes. Never leave the keyboard.
Now, with that being said, we'd like to thank you all for joining us for this week's Mappool Showcase. Definitely have some more unique maps mentioned in this pool as we move on to the more difficult stages. Being able to provide kind of more unique tests for the mod-specific ones like AR9 Double Time, very small circles with Hard Rock that comes into more hack-heavy testing, and even some very unconventional XCOM. There are a lot of more things we get to provide, as well as our very first Osu original of the season. And once again, give a big shout out to those teams that have managed to make it this far. Definitely make sure to pick the Osu original in match so we can hear it plenty of times.
Absolutely. It is a banger, and I'm so excited to have been able to showcase that with you guys.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Big Snow. With that being said, that will end it for us. Definitely more excited for the Osu originals to come as you push through the tournament, and I'm going to be very excited to reveal more of those to you as the tournament progresses. Thank you so much, Mr. Big Snow, and
anytime.
We will see you all next week. Good luck in your matches. Bye-bye.
Good luck all. See you guys.